zombie quips. JD's headset on too tight. Heather jumps at every fright. The screen goes black, the tension's high. Gina says we're gonna die. Basement walls feel like a tomb. Echo laughs light up the room. Spooky games and pixel ghosts. Heather screams and Gina boasts. Ray Sean's running out of frame. Basement haunts our YouTube fame. The screen goes black, the tension's high. Gina says we're gonna die. Basement walls feel like a tomb. Echo laughs light up the room. Spooky games and pixel ghosts. Heather screams and Gina boasts. Ray Sean's running out of frame. Basement haunts our YouTube fame. Basement chills we gather round. Corners laugh aloud.
What's up, guys? Welcome. This is a premiere of, we're going to do Friday the 13th review, as you've seen in the title. I have with me Trek and Heather. Heather set everything up here. She just woke up. I let her, she's up all night. So we're doing like a third shift, first shift thing. So we're going to go with that. But I want to thank everybody for being here. We're gonna review Friday the 13th. How this is gonna work is we're gonna do it in a series of movies. We might have guests along the way, Basement, Connor, depending on when we do these. We'll do that, and then we'll move on to the next series. So we're gonna start with Friday the 13th, which in my opinion is like Halloween and Friday the 13th are 1A and 1B for me, only because I have an affinity to them. They came out when I was a little kid, and I seen them when they came out. Like my mom, for some reason, I was drawn to horror movies. Jaws I seen in the movie theater at the age of 4. I think it came out 76 or 75, and it re-came out. Mom took me when I was like 4 years old. And I absolutely loved the movie. I cried when they killed the shark. So that tells you where I was with horror movies. I was all for the bad guy. For some reason, it's weird. I was weird when it came to that as a kid. And I know Trek absolutely adores, and I say adores, and we're talking about horror movies, but he adores horror movies, which in our conversations. So I'm gonna let him not lead, but I'm gonna let him talk about why he is so into horror movies and other things, and then I'll let Heather jump in whenever she wants. So go ahead, Trek. The floor is yours, man.
I've been a horror fan since I was like 10 or 11. And even then, like, my parents would bring me to the costume aisle every Halloween, put the mask on, just try and scare me. I just laugh at them. So I've been a horror fan ever since I was like a little kid, but it started when I was 10 or 11 with like the Nightmare on Elm Street movies. And then I got into the Friday 13th and the Halloweens, and Jason is the sympathetic character too, I think, because you feel bad for him because it wasn't his fault. He got screwed over. So you can understand why the antagonist of the first movie is getting revenge. And it's just, the horror movies are always really cool because they have fun characters. They're kind of stupid. And they also have good gore effects.
So
they have other cool stuff.
So yes, we will get into and I kind of do agree with you. Here's the thing with horror movies, especially like And I wouldn't. I would argue Michael Myers is the same way. But Jason Voorhees is a child with disabilities
Hmm.
who was swimming and drowned, and the camp counselors weren't watching him at the time. And we'll get into that. I don't want to. I mean, a lot of you have already seen the movie, so you know who the killer is. But the whole point of the movie, and what I want people to do while watching this, while we're doing this, is take away what you know, and imagine that you're watching this for the first time, because they do a really good job of hiding who is the killer. You assume that it's the kid that drowned. And
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
that's how they pitch it. The way it looked to me, that's how they pitched it. And I absolutely love the way that they did this movie. I am not, now the slasher type stuff that Friday the 13th becomes is okay, but this is the kind of horror I like. The suspense, who is doing the killing and why, and the jump scares. I mean, I don't jump scare very often, but I love it. I love these kinds of movies where you're trying to figure out who the killer is while the killer's killing people.
Yeah, exactly. It's a mystery. It's based off the Agatha Christie novels and stuff. So it's really cool how they did the first one.
So let's get started. And I don't have the plot or anything in front of me. I just watched the movie, so I'm just gonna go off of this. The opening scene is the camp counselors are sitting in a room singing "Kumbaya," and the next thing you know, they're done singing their "Kumbaya." It's like they're at a Christian camp. It's really, I wouldn't say it's creepy,
Yeah.
but it adds to what is going on.
It's
Um,
off-putting.
so you don't know why right off the bat they're doing this, or do is that the opening scene, or did they show the scene? Is the scene the first scene where Jason drowns? I can't remember.
No, that's later.
Okay, so I know I seen it, but I was doing other things as well. I just so that I could refresh my memory. So I might mix some things up, and it's okay. Correct me if I'm wrong. So the opening scene is the camp counselors are sitting in a circle singing "Kumbaya, my lord," while one's playing the guitar, and then they're done, and then a girl and a boy decide to go make out, get naked, and you know the rule. The rules of a horror movie is don't have sex. Don't. What's the other one?
Don't have sex. Don't smoke dope. Don't get
upstairs.
drunk. Don't act like an asshole.
Yep, and don't go upstairs or don't run into the barn, whatever.
Don't
So
go into the
those are
basement.
don't run upstairs, don't run downstairs unless it's out a door. Um, but so they end up, and this must have just happened that Jason drowned. So the two camp counselors that went off and decided to do sexy time were killed by somebody, unknowing who it is. Then they cut off to the next scene where there's a girl at a gas station. She pets a dog, whatever. So it goes into the okay. So this is where the movie's going. Camp Crystal Lake has been closed for I don't know how long, and they open it up and all this stuff. So they go into the And this is where it kind of, I just didn't, this is where I just wasn't paying attention because it was just them. And they were trying to do character building, but nobody really cared about the character building. The only character that really needed to be built was the killer, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Except for the one that survives. There's always one that survives. Even though her character really, I mean, there was really no character build for the people that were killed in the movie. So, moving on to the next scene. So, help me here. Go ahead.
He's gonna the trucker's bringing her outside. He's gonna drop her off at
So
not
the girl walks into the restaurant. Sorry. So
Yep.
the girl walks into the
And then-
restaurant. She goes, "Is there anybody
Yep.
heading towards Camp Crystal Lake or whatever?" And everybody's like, "You really shouldn't go there."
Yeah, especially the guy outside, Ralph.
Yep, Ralph. Doesn't Ralph die?
No, not in this one. The next one he does.
Okay. So Ralph tells her you should avoid going to the campground because it's haunted and it's cursed. Which is true because people have been disappearing and people have disappeared and they've opened it and all this stuff. Is there anything you want to add to this? Go ahead. So they move on, they carry on. She gets a ride out to the, I wouldn't say, is weird why, and this is one thing I didn't like about it, is he dropped her off in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
Why didn't you just take her and drop her off there?
Exactly. That's a good point. That's why I was wondering why I watched it.
That was a problem with the continuity of the. It's just okay. She's dying, so they kind of telegraphed who was dying in this, and that kind of took it away from me. But it was more about who was doing the killing than it was who's gonna die. If that makes sense. Mm-hmm. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So I can't remember everybody's name in the movie. Betsy? I want to say one of them is Betsy. It might be Betsy Palmer was the mother of Jason in this movie.
Mm-hmm.
Who's a famous actress. She was the most famous of actresses at the time. Kevin Bacon is in this movie. He is just another character. And this is before Kevin Bacon became huge. It wasn't too long after that he was in Footloose, if I remember right.
Yep.
It's like 5 or 6 years after that, because Footloose came out in what? Footloose?
84.
Yeah. So it was like 4 or 5 years after this movie was made, Kevin Bacon made Footloose, and that's when Kevin Bacon took off. So I think this is one of his first roles as an actor. If I remember right, he might have been in some other things, but I don't remember. This is
he was in Animal House first, but even said after that nothing really came about. Then he got Friday the 13th. So.
Right. So they all show up out at the campground and they're all working on getting it cleaned up for the kids to come. This was pretty good. This is all about the camp counselors, which is what the story is based on. The camp counselors let Jason die. That's what this is about. So whoever's doing the killing is killing the camp counselors and not the kids. Now they do later on in movies have the kids there, which makes no fucking sense to me.
They didn't really do anything with that. They just wanted to use it as a suspense point.
So the girl that was the opening scene, not the opening scene, but the next scene, she's on her way and somebody picks her up in a car or in the Jeep and she gets in and then she ends up dying. And it's really good how they did it because she's talking and she's just, being normal. It's a normal conversation. And then it becomes, when she drives past Camp Crystal Lake, she's like, hey, you passed it. She becomes the first victim.
Yeah.
Yep, she gets her throat slashed, which was really cool effect.
So
and
that
stuff.
was another thing that was really cool about this. They didn't show too much. I mean, they did show a couple of things, but they didn't show the killing, so to speak. They cut away from especially the first one, and then so on and so forth. So carrying on into the movie, she dies, and of course she probably gets thrown in the back of the truck, and moving on. So there's a storm rolling in, and one thing that I will give the people that do Friday the 13th, almost every movie, there is a storm.
Yep.
Except for in Jason X, there is no storm. They're in outer space. Right?
Yeah, exactly.
They're in outer space. They do have the feel of the darkness and the lightning and the thunder because there's noises. But there's always a storm or a thunderstorm of some kind taking place during Friday the 13th. This just adds an aura to the movie, which I'm okay with. So moving on. They have the fuck around and find out guy, the one that's always pulling pranks.
Yeah.
They have They have the girls in there for the sexy time. For the, gotta do that. You gotta have that. You gotta have. I'm sorry. You gotta have tits and ass in a horror movie. If you don't, then what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah, exactly.
It adds to it. Actually, believe it or not, it adds to the movie itself.
I mean, how many of us, our first crushes were in a horror movie, so it definitely adds to it.
We're in a horror movie. None of the girls in this movie are really that great looking to me.
No, not necessarily this one. Just like in a horror movie per se.
So we'll get in. The second one, the same thing. The third one, the same thing. The fourth one, there was some good-looking girls in that one. The fifth one, there was some good-looking girls. The sixth one, there was like really good-looking girl. The seventh one, yes. The eighth one, yes. The ninth one, I don't remember who was in the ninth one. The 10th one, there was plenty of good-looking girls in that one. So, so moving on to that, the guys were either goof-offs or were trying to get in the pants of the women. That's how these movies went. I didn't mind it, but the storyline is so right now, at this time, the killer has already killed one person so far? Or has she killed two people?
The first two kids from back in the day, and then the one kid in present day.
There's three. Surprisingly, she didn't. See, that's where I thought the movie, when I first seen it, I'm like, this is going to be the movie where all of these camp counselors are going to die. But they went this direction, which is okay, because it is in the future. And it could be older. The person that drowned, Jason, could be the killer. And that's what everybody was thinking. And this is why I love this movie, is because you don't know who the killer is. You assume it's Jason.
Yes.
Yeah, because he's in all the other ones.
Because they do mention the drowning. The kid drowned up there, and ever since then...
They speak to his mother, too.
Not right away.
Not right away, no, but eventually they do speak to her.
Yeah, she shows up halfway through the movie. When... And we'll get to that killing, because... so, the second... Now it's the middle of the day, it's a beautiful day, and then all of a sudden the storm's rolling in. And I haven't gotten the storm, but it's a beautiful day. Everybody's swimming. So it's not October because they're in upstate New York.
Yeah, it's still freezing cold.
It's cold up there. It can be cold. like here. So they're not. We know it's like probably summertime or right before summer, or, you know, somewhere in there, or it's, you know, whatever. So we know that we're running into they're swimming, so it's not cold. Where everybody assumes it's Friday, October the 13th. Okay, well, whatever. Which there's the continuity of that. There's an issue with other movies that I'll discuss, because some of them go in and it's his birthday. It's like, was his birthday in summer or was it in fall? Because everybody's swimming. So one of the swimmers sees something. It's creeped out by something, like somebody's watching. You get that feeling, that eerie feeling that somebody's watching you. Just, you know, creepy feeling. That's what she's doing. I don't think she can see him per se. But so that takes place, and then it's like 15 minutes later, somebody dies. Right? So
Well, like
take me into that. Go ahead, Trey.
So they're swimming, and she sees like something shiny in the distance, but they just tell her, no, it's nothing. And then the joking kid, Ned, actually acts like he drowns. But it's to get the girl to give him CPR, and he reveals it's a joke. So the prankster and stuff that. And then and then they all dry off. Alice goes into her cabin, there's a snake.
Oh, yeah,
and
the snake. The snake, that was pretty good. It wasn't even a poisonous snake, it was just a rat snake.
Yep.
But,
yeah, just regular snakes. So
keep going.
They get the one guy, Bill, goes in with his machete, which is foreshadowing, kills the snake, and then they make a joke about that's for dinner and stuff. And it's just real easy, you know. They wrote it the way people would talk, so I like that.
So what was really good about that scene is he killed this snake and he looked at the machete and it's like, is he the killer? So they teased a non-teaser. That makes sense.
Yeah, red herring. Yeah.
So it's trying to throw you off the trail of who the killer actually is, which is really good. But carry on.
They also did a good job of that with Steve Christie, who runs the camp, and his Jeep. Because when you see the girl get picked up, it's a similar looking Jeep. So they're like, is he the killer? So they're kind of hinted at that. But there's so many good plot twists and turns with this movie. It's like you really are surprised when the killer does show up later, which we'll get into. But yeah, and then like
you're kept
they go into
through the whole movie.
Yep, they go into the kitchen, and there's Crazy Ralph waiting for her, and he's trying to say you're all doomed and stuff, which is awesome. I love that.
That guy was too bad he dies in the second one, because he's so good. It's so good. He played his part, even though he only had that one word, or that one line in the movie. It was really good because it creeped everybody out.
It reminded me of the retarded guy in Mad Max, the first one.
Right.
Yeah.
Keep going, Trek. You're doing great.
Yeah, and then it starts storming, and Ned's walking around, and you see him go up to ask somebody if they're okay, and like he disappears. We find out where he is later, and it gets to Kevin Bacon and his girlfriend in the movie getting together.
This is where the first scene of you actually seeing the killer kill somebody.
Yeah.
Now, what I will say, for this being in 1980, I think it was made in 1980 or 79, and then released in 80. The visual effects are so good, and I can't remember his name. He was in From Dusk Till Dawn. He was a visual effects guy, and he was a visual horror effects guy that everybody freaking wanted for all horror for horror movies. Do you remember his name? He was in From
Tom
Dusk
Savini.
There you go. So good. He was so good. He made things look realistic. Didn't he do Night of the Living Dead 2, the remake?
He did the remake, and he did. The reason they grabbed him for this one is because he did Dawn of the Dead in 1979. He did all the effects, which is awesome.
Yeah, so he
Fantastic
was
movie.
really good at the visual effects of lopping somebody's head off, or the blood spurting out of the neck. And this one was really good because if you've seen the documentary of and I think the documentary is called Camp Crystal Lake.
Crystal Lake Memories.
Yes, and they actually talked about how they did the scene. It was
Hmm.
Kevin Bacon was in the bed, and you could tell if you really look closely, his head was through the pillow, and
Yeah.
they had the prosthetic so that, it looked like it was going through his neck, it was really good. It's now they can use CGI for all that stuff, which costs millions of dollars just to make. Um, but that being said, what they did there, that scene, just could you imagine that going through your neck like that? That's the feeling you got. The up close shot of that spear coming through was so good. The
When I
one
was
dude, the one goofball, he was killed in
Ned.
this. He doing handstands or something and
No,
got
he would just walk around like throwing stuff into the lake and stuff, and then.
he got the axe to the
Well, they didn't show it. They just see him. You just see him in bed as Marcy and Jack are
right. But
getting together, and you see him
they
dead.
show when they lead up to when he is killed. They
Yeah,
show
because he
him
goes,
being
"Hello, do you need help?" or
killed,
shit like that. Yeah.
which isn't him being. They don't show it, but they
Nope.
show him being um that
Attacked.
scene. Yeah, thank you. And then he's on top of the bed. She goes after the two had sex. Um, she goes to the and I do want to go back to one thing when the cop shows up, which is freaking hilarious
Oh
because
yeah, Officer
with
Dorf.
Kevin
Yeah.
Bacon's interaction with the cop. Um, she goes to the bathroom and she is killed with an axe.
Hmm.
Um,
That's a really good effect too. That's that's one
that
of
was another. That
Savini's
was
best effects
another
too.
scene. Her getting the axe to the face. The visual effects again. How he does that is so good.
Yeah.
They then go into the she goes to the scene where Kevin Bacon. This is where I want to go back to. The cop. Remember, the cop asked them, "Are you guys smoking dope?" And he goes, Kevin Bacon goes, "No, it causes cancer." Well, what is
Yep.
he doing laying in the fucking bed before he's
Smoking
fucking
dope.
killed? He's smoking dope. Now, what was really good about this is they didn't do it right away. Was the blood dripping down on his face?
Yeah.
He's like, "What is this?" And then all of a sudden, he looks and it's blood, and that's when the killer kills him. Great scene. I love that. That is what I like to see. It's not the jump scare. It freaks you out enough to be like, "Oh my god, could you imagine?" And that's what a lot of these killings do. Is, "Oh my god, could you imagine that?" Like the girl with the axe, where she just goes, "Oh god, no," and she's killed. It's
Yeah.
like the actors that get killed in this movie do a really good job of acting like they're being killed, or they're
Yeah.
in despair and they're gonna die, right?
Yeah. They're in
It's really
peril.
good. Some of them, like the camp leader, the Steve, I think his name is.
Steve,
He
Steve Christie.
knows the killer. I think he dies like next or something like that.
He's one of the next ones. He's he's the second to last one.
Right. So the thing is with this, so there's like three of them left now, right?
Yeah, there's the three playing strip
They're
Monopoly in
three
the cabin.
playing strip Monopoly. Now the one thing, so as these movies go on, you can see the one that doesn't get fully involved into the let's get naked, let's smoke dope, let's do this, let's do that. They always live. I would have liked to have seen it at some point in these movies where the one that does smoke dope, the one that does have survives.
I'd like that too. I think that'd be a nice change of pace.
It would have been a nice change of pace, but they always had to do it. The goody two shoe always wins. I don't care for that. Goody two shoe, like there's a couple of movies where the goody two shoe dies. Not in the Friday the 13th, but other movies. Yes. The goody two shoe dies. Yeah. Right? And I can't think of those right off the top of my head.
It's like some of the Elm Streets and stuff they do, and like those ones do. It said the Halloweens.
Well, Halloween's. I mean, we'll get into those. We might do Halloween on Halloween. So, doing a review of that. That's my favorite horror movie of all time. But so Jason's my all-time favorite character. But so back to this. We got the 3 playing strip poker. The one girl goes, "Oh my God, I left my windows open." She goes to close them. She dies. I don't remember I was doing a homework assignment. I don't particularly remember how she dies, Trek.
She dies because she's in the cabin. She hears Jason, I guess. There's a little kid saying, "Help me, help me." Runs into the woods where the archery range is. And we find out later she gets, shot with arrows. So the killer kills her.
Again, they don't show it.
No.
But it's really good. Oh God, what happened to her? How did she die? And they do a pretty good job of showing that. The next one to die is the one guy that the other girl.
The next one to die is Steve Christie, literally, because you see him get dropped off outside the camp. He goes, "Hi, what are you doing?"
Again, this is what I don't understand. I understand he gets a call, but dropping him off at the entrance just makes no sense to me.
Yeah.
I think he said he had to.
So he's going, and this is a problem I have with the movie. I understand why they did it, but I don't like the fact that they did it. They could have very easily done him at some point after he gets dropped off. Do you see what I'm saying? They drop him off at the, now don't drop him off at the entrance where he has to walk a mile or two to the fucking camp. I didn't like that. That's just me.
No, I got you. That's convenient plot.
Say it again?
That's convenience. It's just
it's convenient, which isn't. It's not a bad thing, but it's not a good thing either.
I think if I remember correctly, the reason why he dropped them off was because the cop got emergency call and they had to leave there, and Steve said, "Just drop me off."
I got no, and that's what I said. However, the problem is he could have taken him in there, and it would have. I'll be there in 20.
Yeah.
Like okay, what's 5 minutes? There's fatalities. They're already dead. There's no need to rush, right? So,
yeah, exactly.
So, and I get that somebody has to be on scene, whatever, but so the next thing you know, that call, you're assuming, oh my God, the killer killed those people too. But they never go into it.
Yeah.
So Steve Christie gets it next, right?
Yeah, he gets next. We don't see what happens.
That's an interesting dichotomy because he's like, oh hey, and then she or whoever kills him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They don't show it, but you can see that he has the oh my God, I've been stabbed, I'm dead, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
He has a shocked look on his face. Oh my God, I'm dead. Then the killer goes, and I think the killer kills the one guy. I don't remember particularly how he dies.
He goes to the generator because she pulls the power out. She cuts the power, and then he goes to the generator, and then Alice wakes up goes to look for him, and she finds him impaled with all the arrows on the back of the drum, including the arrow to the crotch, which made me
It's
cringe.
just it's
So,
an effect. It's an effect. It is what it
Yeah.
is.
those are really good effects. That one too, especially.
So there we have that, and then it's just her, and so this movie is only like an hour and 20 minutes long. It's not a long movie, but it gets to the point, and it's a foreshadowing of things. So we get to the point where everybody is dead, right? I think everybody's dead at this point, except for
Nicole,
Yeah.
I think, yeah.
Except for Alice, the main girl.
And now the goody two shoe survives so far. Now, the old lady, Mrs. Voorhees, shows up and is like, "What's going on? What's the matter?" Playing the sympathetic, "I'm so sorry that this happened to you." And then this is where it takes a turn, and I absolutely love her character.
Yep.
She does such a great job of playing a narcissistic psychopath.
Yeah.
Sociopathic, like the worst human being possible. Even though you have a sympathy because her son is the one that died because of the camp counselors. They turn her on a dime and say, "Did you know that my son was killed? There's a little boy that was killed here, and that was my son." And that's when she goes crazy. And
Yeah.
and what I really like is she hears voices. The voices.
Yeah, she hears Jason's voice. So.
Well, she hears, but it's her.
Yeah, oh no, it's her doing the voice,
Killer
which I
mommy,
think is really
killer
good.
Mommy. It's her saying "killer mommy," and she is split personality. She's sociopathic. She's psychopathic. She's everything, and which I can, as a parent, I would completely understand, even though I be considered a sociopathic killer. So you're sympathizing. You're empathizing with the mother. Especially if you're a parent, you're empathizing or sympathizing.
Well, it also goes to the psychology of mothers and sons' bonds are completely different from mothers and daughters' bonds.
Well, what adds to the lore of it is that he was disabled.
Yes.
Jason Voorhees was disabled. And
Yeah.
he drowned, and nobody was paying any attention to him, which she tells the whole story. And I can't remember the whole dialogue, but she goes, "The camp counselors just left him alone. Nobody paid any attention to him, and he drowned and died. And that's why she's killing everybody." Come to find out, she is the killer, which is so good because it's not who you would have thought. You would have thought it was Jason.
Yeah.
Especially after she has that dream sequence of him coming out of the water.
Well, that comes after. So, as the last 15 minutes of the movie is her trying to get away from Mrs. Voorhees. They wrestle around a couple of times. They fight, get out to the beach. And this is probably one of the best scenes of the movie, when them two come face to face, and she's got the machete, she's got an oar, she cuts at her, she misses the oar. It just back and forth fighting, trying to get away. She knocks the machete out of her hand, out of Mrs. Voorhees' hand. Mrs. Voorhees gets knocked out. She assumes that she's dead because she does hit her with a frying pan in the back of the head. She is bleeding out the back of her head, which would kill a normal person probably because her skull is completely fractured. The mother then comes at her. I don't remember what she comes at. Doesn't she come at her with the oars or something to kill her?
Alice has the oar, and Mrs. Voorhees chops it.
Right.
And then,
No, I already talked about that.
Let him finish.
yeah.
So I already talked about that. So the chopping of her head off. What does Mrs. Voorhees have in her hand?
She doesn't have anything.
She's just coming at her, and then she cuts her head off, and she dies.
Yeah, she reaches up for where her head was, which I thought was really cool fact. That like her, you see her hands go up.
Scene. Tom Savini does a really good job
Oh, he did.
of showing the doesn't show the
effect.
chopping of the head off, but they do.
Yeah.
They show the motion of the swing and then her head flying.
And that's so
Yeah.
good. That her head comes flying off, she dies. The one thing that really confused the shit out of me is she got in a boat out into the middle of the lake.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have done that.
Well, at that point, I could, like, again, it goes back to the psychology of the movie. She is so trauma-ridden and scared out of her mind that the only thing she can think of is get in the boat and you'll be safe in the middle of the lake. Because nothing can get her without her hearing it.
That makes sense. Yeah, there will be no way to get to her anyway.
I can understand that. All right, I get it. And then she falls asleep, I guess, or not. I don't know. Or wakes up in the middle of the lake and she's playing with the water, and then all of a sudden everybody's assuming Jason comes out of the water and pulls her, attacks her, and then she wakes up and then she starts talking about the boy. That's the end of the movie. Great cutscene, because they left you hanging with a possibility of doing another movie, which they did, which that'll be the next movie that we do. But this movie is just short. It wasn't too long. It was a quick movie. These kinds of movies are for people that take people on dates. Horror movies were made for people to go on dates. That's what these movies were made for, in my eyes. Because you take a girl on a date and jump scare, what is she gonna do? Jump into your arms.
Jump into your arms.
And that's exactly what it's all about.
Yep.
As far as horror movies go, this is one of the first ones that I've seen. In fact, I think it is the first horror movie that I've seen. For me. The visual effects for the time is a 9 out of 10. Hands down, some of the best visual effects you'll see in the 80s were up to that time. They didn't need visual effects for Halloween because there was no need for it.
Yeah.
But what they did have for visual effects was pretty good. The acting, I didn't hate it, but it wasn't great, and it wasn't.
Yeah.
It wasn't supposed to be great.
It wasn't like The Thing.
The Thing wasn't that great either. The acting wasn't that great either.
It was better than this one.
Well, I disagree. But anyway, the story is an 8 out of 10 for me. Because it does the whole who did it, who done it, who is the bad guy, who is doing the killing. They didn't give the reveal until the end, which is the way it's supposed to be. And in part 2, you didn't know who the killer was until they actually revealed it. Which they revealed it again 10 minutes. Then part 3, you know who the killer is. Part 4, you know who the killer is. Part 5, you know who the killer is. Well, part 5 was another one where you didn't know who the killer was. You thought it was him, but it wasn't him. But we'll get into that. So I am adorned to this movie. I don't know what other categories you could put out there for this movie to rate it. The 3 major ones for me is the acting, the story, and the effects. So 9 out of 10. a 6 out. What did I give the acting? A 6 out of 10. 6 out of 10, and then that's 15 out of 20. 15 out of 20, and then 8 out of 10 with the story. The writer, whoever wrote that, was brilliant.
Yeah.
It's an 8 out of 10. That's 23 out of 30, so
About a C.
about a 7
That'd
and
be
a
a
half
C.
out of 10 for me is what I would give this movie. It's one of the acting will always be at a 5 or a 6. The acting is always terrible in these movies. It's not great, but it's not supposed to be great. Because there's a purpose for the movies. It's everybody wanted to see Jason fucking lop somebody's head off. That's all it was.
Exactly.
That's what they became. That's essentially what they became.
I was saying Michael turned into that too.
And Michael.
Yeah.
That's what Michael Myers became. It wasn't. We'll get into that when we do it. But, the suspense. I could make a category. I would give that a 9. Because you don't know who the killer is, and they did. They
kept the psychology of it going through the whole thing.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So that's where I go, and I would go that 9 out of 10, those 4 categories. So that's the way we're going to rate these movies, those 4 categories: the suspense, the acting, the
story,
and
and the visual effects.
So 9 out of 10 is 23, 32 out of 40. 8 out of 10?
Yeah.
For me. That's what I give it. Trek? Well, you know what? I'm going to let Heather go. You can go last.
Good. Yeah, go for it.
Go ahead.
There's really nothing more to add. Excuse me. The acting, I would actually put at 5.5 instead of the 6.
Okay.
Because, again, it's a bunch of unknowns that they took the risk on. That they did good, but they stuck with the cheesy kind of horror movie acting that everybody laughs at today.
Well, back then in the 80s, it wasn't cheesy because... And I get what you're saying. I 100% get what you're saying, but back then, growing up, it wasn't cheesy.
I know.
I get now it's cheesy, and I 100% am behind what you're saying, but at the time, it wasn't cheesy. That's all I'm saying. Go ahead.
So for the acting itself, it's 5 out of 5. The story, again, we've said it numerous times. It's because of movies like Michael Myers in Halloween and Friday the 13th that the slasher genre took off the way it did. So the story, I'm gonna put at like a 7.
Okay, so that's 12 and a half.
Visual effects are definitely 8 out of 10.
20 and a half.
And the suspense for it also 8 out of 10.
28 out of 40. 28 and a half out of 40. That is, I think it's going to be like
7.5 maybe.
No. It's going to be a 7, but 7 and an 8.
Okay.
So Heather puts it at a 7 and an 8, which is 7.125 is what it is. It's okay. That's not bad. It's pretty good. Trek, didn't you say something before we started the show about, and Heather mentioned it, and I can't remember what it was, and it had to do, I can't remember, but you might say it when we get to it. So go ahead with yours.
So acting will probably be a 6.
Okay.
I mean, they got unknowns who, especially Bacon. I mean, Kevin Bacon, you could see he was going to be a big star and stuff. And for the material they got, they actually did pretty well. I mean, they were cheesy, but like you said, it wasn't cheesy back then. It's cheesy now, but it's fun cheesy. It's just fun to watch, and you kind of laugh at it and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
effects is 10 for me because I love the just a lot bit of the head, the arrow, even the knife slash to the girl in the beginning was pretty good. I mean, you look at it now when they put 4K in, it's like, oh, they look so fake and stuff like that. But you know, back then it was like practical effects, which is why for me practical will always be better than CGI. I'd rather watch a practical effect movie than a CGI one because you could tell CGI looks so fake. But practical, they took their time. They save money. You save money by doing practical effects. It's just they don't want to put the effort in, which is sad.
Got it.
But I'd rather see that. What was the next one?
Suspense.
Suspense, I'd say 8.
Okay, so
Pretty
that's
good.
24.
And especially with like you know, they go when she goes into the cabin, she says Ralph. It's kind of a nice jump scare because you don't think he's gonna be there. It's like they kind of hint at him. He goes, "I'm a messenger of God." And
Right.
he wasn't even in there much. He was in what 5 minutes, and he was
You
like the
talking
most
about
memorable
the old
character.
man? You talking about the old
Yeah,
man?
the crazy Ralph.
Okay.
He was in there for like 5 minutes, and he was like the character everyone remembers, along with Mrs. Voorhees.
Mm-hmm.
And then what would the last one be?
The story.
Story, I'd say 7.
So 31. You didn't rate this as high as I did.
No, but I think for the effects I did. But you know, I've seen this so many times. I saw them all out of order too. I saw this one like the middle of the ones I'd already seen. I saw the other ones first, so I knew, you know, who it wasn't Jason. I loved everybody complains, it's not Jason. I'm like, no, but it sets up why Jason is in the later ones and what he's doing and stuff.
So
I like the ending too. Thought the ending was really good, a little jump scare.
plus, what was the suspense for you? 8?
8.
And then the story was what?
Story I think was 7.
There we go. 30. So hold on. 31. Just give me a second.
You're good. But yeah, I
So
love
you
the
gave
movie.
it a 7.75 overall, if that's what you were going to add everything together. So you were
Yeah.
just a little bit under me. I can go with that. And collectively, you were the lowest at what did I say?
7.125.
Then I gave it an 8. Together, we gave it a 7.83.
Cool.
For an overall rating. And that's just overall if we were adding everything together. If I was
Mhm.
just rating this movie on movie, I'd probably give it a 6.5, 7 out of
Yeah.
10. But because of the factors that we put in there, and for the time that it was made, is one of the better horror movies I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Not quite as good as Halloween though, and
No.
I'll argue that all day. I mean, everybody has their favorites, and I love both movies, but this one and Halloween are 1A, 1B for me, and I think Halloween just gives a little bit more of an edge because of the acting's a little better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The suspense is way better. The story, way better. They're pretty equal, but the acting, the suspense, the visual effects, there isn't much for visual effects because they aren't needed. You can't, and what visual effects they do have is pretty spot on. So
Yeah.
they're really close in nature to me, but I give the edge to Halloween because of the acting. But
The only edge I would give to Friday the 13th is the fact that the ending scene with him jumping out of the lake was a very late addition, and they knew they had to have like something like a little sticking point so everybody remembered why they go see it again to jump.
so what
But
I will
I'd say that's the only thing they'll put above it for me.
what I will say is the visual effects are way better in Friday the 13th than they are in Halloween. That
Oh, yeah.
is about the only advantage that I give Friday the 13th. And I do agree with you. The redos or the additions, like the Jason Voorhees grabs the girl, great, loved it. Other than that, I have nothing else. The next one we're going to do, and we'll probably do it in succession, will probably be Friday the 13th Part 2. We'll probably keep it in an hour, just like we're up to like 55 minutes and 45 seconds on this. So this is about where I want to be on these reviews, if we can do that.
Yeah.
Unless you want to, I'm sure. Now, keep in mind, everybody, I'm sure that Trek and I are going to disagree on
There's
some
going to be
things.
some debates.
There is going to be some heated debate, which I'm okay with, because that's what this is about. That's what reviews are. Not everybody's going to agree on everything. This is one of those movies where, yes, the plot holes in the story for me are not good. Like dropping a guy off at the entrance, not driving him all the way to the campground, makes no sense to me. That's a plot hole, so you know what's going to happen. I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't have done that. I understand why they did it, but it's not needed. You can still kill her off, or him off, before, with that. It's in the dark. That's how you do it, man. Have her be one of the last ones killed. She's survived. I would have had her survive until the end, along with the other girl, and then she dies at the end. That's what I would have done.
That's how I would have revealed the mother being the killer.
That's
she coming up, stabbing her in the back.
Perfect. Would have been much better for me. I don't hate the way they did it.
No.
But I think it would have probably made the movie a little better. That's me personally. But the dropping off of the cop dropping the guy, it makes no sense to me. It's just a plot hole for me. And I think if Baseman was here, he'd probably agree.
Probably, yeah.
Connor would too, probably, I think. So, yeah.
So that being said, I have nothing. Heather, do you have anything?
No.
Trek, do you have anything?
For me, just, I'm a horror fanatic, so we have like we said, we're going to debate the rest of the movies, because some of them getting down there are cheesy as fuck. I mean, but it's just fun. You like some movies, you don't like some movies, but you have fun talking about them. And also, if anyone wants to see some facts about these movies, go watch the Crystal Lake Memories documentary.
It's a good documentary.
Because they go into detail on that. Holy shit, so amazing. It's a long one. It's like 8 hours, but it's worth it.
Corey Feldman actually produced that.
He narrated it.
He also narrated it, which was really good.
Yep.
Because he is one of the top prominent characters in the Friday the 13th. No, he's not until the fourth one.
The fourth one, that's right.
But he is one of the prominent characters and most famous characters to ever, besides Kevin Bacon, to do Friday the 13th. And I'm sure there's a couple of more that are pretty famous, but we'll get into that. What we're going to do is we might even do Halloween next. I don't know. We can create a playlist. This will go on the Horny Goat, and I'll probably premiere it on Thursday. Well, we won't be here Thursday. Might premiere it on Friday.
Cool.
Well, we can still premiere it on Thursday. Just I'll be in the chat at the bowling alley.
Well, I'd rather not. I'd like to be there, but because I'm more focused on bowling than I am anything else when I'm out. What we'll do is we'll probably do the premiere on Friday, and then we'll go live right after that.
Sure.
We'll figure.
And if anybody wants to watch these movies, they're on a bunch of services. You can watch. You can get them on DVD.
This one is on Peacock, and I know that like the first three are on Peacock.
Yep. Without
commercials.
The
other Other ones I think are on Paramount Plus. Not all of them, but I think most of them. If not, they're on HBO Max as well, I think. So,
Yep, I think it's 1, 2, and 3 are on Peacock. All of, the first 8 are on Paramount Plus, but they for some reason they have Part 1 locked down, which is just dumb because they want people to subscribe to Showtime. So they said Showtime
the
exclusive.
ninth one I haven't really watched.
Ninth one is okay. I mean, it's not a typical Jason movie. It's more of like a body hopping movie kind of.
It's weird.
Yeah.
It kind of this is right about that. I can understand like 7, 8, 9 just was fucking weird. And
Yeah.
then 10, I did see parts of 9, but it's just really weird. 10 is just like, okay.
They really ran out of ideas.
They really ran out of
Well-
ideas. I mean, it became how many, what is Jason going to do to kill people this time?
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's
just-
also the
staple
fact
of the movie. That's what it became with Friday the 13th, Nightmare on Elm Street,
Halloween.
all of
Yep.
them.
So we'll get into that. The sequels suck. You'll notice how my demeanor changes on these movies as we go, because it's like, okay, this motherfucker, get out of here. Come on. Enough. So with that said, we're gonna get out of here. Trek, I want to thank you. I appreciate you doing these. I know you've been wanting to do these. I know we have talked about doing these. I actually have time to do these right now. That's being said, once I go back to work, I will not have time to do these. I will find time.
Once you're done with school, you'll have.
Once
more
I'm
time.
done with school, I'll have tons more time. But so, that being said, I want to thank everybody for watching. We'll talk to you later, and we'll see you on the Horny Goat channel. They probably have something going on almost every day. I know the night of this recording tonight, they're doing.
We might be doing
Dungeons
Gate,
and
but I want
Dragons?
to be sure that I have the map right. For
Okay,
D&D.
for D&D. So Heather might do Baldur's Gate. I thought you were doing D&D. I might do something. I haven't decided yet.
Well, I don't know why you're putting this in there because it's going to be uploaded after.
I got it. So that being said, everybody have a good night, and we'll talk to you later.